A suitcase killed me in my first life, and in my second life, 600 people laughed because another suitcase became my familiar. I had not yet decided which part offended me more. The laughter rolled through the Royal Academy Hall. I stood inside the silver summoning circle with one hand resting on a crystal pillar. A moment earlier, that crystal had shown 91. 91 points of resonance with a royal griffin. 80 was considered rare. 85 could get a poor student noticed by noble houses. 90 meant the academy paid attention. 91 meant my life was supposed to change before dinner. For 3 breaths, the entire hall had been silent. Then, Examiner Wren touched the crystal. The number vanished. "There was an error," he said. 600 students heard him. I looked at Wren. Then I looked behind him. Leon Vale was smiling. That told me enough. A second crystal was brought onto the stage. Wren inspected it himself. He wiped the surface with a white cloth. He placed it in front of me. Again, I touched it. The crystal glowed. 12. The hall exploded. Some students laughed because 12 was terrible. Others laughed because watching 91 become 12 was even better. Leon laughed because he already knew the ending. Maybe the griffin was resonating with someone standing behind him, he said. That earned him another wave. I did not answer. In my first life, I had learned one useful lesson before a suitcase removed me from the world. When people wanted you angry, anger was expensive. Silence was free. Wren lifted one hand. "David Ash, your official resonance score is 12. You do not qualify for the Royal Griffin contract. You do not qualify for the Royal Scholarship. You do not qualify for East Dormitory housing." 3 losses in one sentence. The scholarship paid 30 gold each month. My mother in this life earned less than 4 gold in a good month repairing clothes in a town 2 days away. The Griffin contract was worth more than money. A bonded Royal Griffin usually meant elite training. Elite training meant noble sponsors. Noble sponsors meant access to dungeons where one successful expedition could earn 50 or 100 gold. All of it disappeared. Leon's official score was 88. He had been second place for exactly 3 minutes. Now he was first. Wren continued as if nothing important had happened. Every admitted student must leave the ceremony with a bonded familiar. Since your measured resonance is below the standard allocation threshold, the academy will assign you an unclaimed familiar from storage. 2 attendants disappeared behind a curtain. A few seconds later, I heard wheels. Not claws, not wings, wheels. 4 small wheels rattled over the stone floor. A rectangular brown suitcase rolled into the hall. One corner was dented. The leather was scratched. The brass locks were green with age. One wheel squeaked every time it turned. The attendants stopped it in front of me. The hall became silent again. Then Leon bent forward and laughed so hard he had to hold his stomach. "A suitcase?" Someone near the front shouted. "Careful, David, it might escape." Another voice answered, "Only downhill." That was the better joke. Even I gave it half a point. Wren kept his face serious. His eyes did not. This object was registered as an unidentified, bonded familiar 32 years ago. It has demonstrated no combat ability, no elemental affinity, no mana projection, and no useful response to standard commands. "So it is perfect for 12 points, Leon said. The laughter came back. I looked down. The suitcase tilted toward me. That was when I stopped thinking about Leon. A cold voice entered my head. It did not appear as a glowing window. There were no floating numbers. I simply knew 3 names. Mimic Master, Rank Feeder, Owner of Living Baggage. 3 possible names for the same class. Then I understood one rule. The familiar could consume 1 physical object each day. When it finished eating, 1 functional property of that object could be transferred to my body, 1 item, 1 useful function, 1 feeding per day. That was all. I almost smiled. Every child in the kingdom learned the basic law of familiars. A familiar could share mana with its master. It could share senses. A wolf could let its master smell farther. A hawk could improve sight. A fire lizard could give resistance to heat, but the actual physical property of the familiar could never become part of the master's body. A man bonded to a dragon did not grow dragon scales. A woman bonded to a sword beetle did not turn her arms into blades. That law was so basic that nobody argued about it. My suitcase had just offered to break it. Wren mistook my silence for humiliation. "You may refuse the assigned bond," he said. "In that case, Your admission will be revoked today. There it was. Take the garbage. Or leave. I reached for the handle. The instant my fingers touched it, the leather became warm. The suitcase opened. The interior was completely black, not dark cloth, black, like a mouth with no bottom. The nearest student stopped laughing. The lid closed. The squeaky wheel turned once. Ren stared for half a second too long. Interesting. Leon recovered first. Congratulations. Try not to pack yourself. I took one step. The suitcase rolled after me without my hand on the handle. The whispers started before I reached the main doors. Suitcase boy, suitcase boy, suitcase boy. I had entered the hall as an unknown scholarship candidate. I left as the academy joke. That was still a kind of reputation. Outside, I stopped under the stone arch. The suitcase stopped behind me. I stepped left. It rolled left. I stepped right. It rolled right. I stared at it. You killed me last time. Nothing happened. I know it was probably a different suitcase. The lid clicked once. I decided that meant agreement. My room was in West Dormitory. The East Dormitory had private baths, enchanted lights, and meal service. My room had one bed, one chair, a cracked wash basin, and a window facing a brick wall. I had lost 30 gold a month and gained a brick. At least the brick looked dependable. I put my travel bag on the bed. The suitcase immediately rolled toward it. Its lid opened. I grabbed the handle. No, it pulled forward. We are not wasting today's meal on my socks. It pulled harder. I planted both feet. The lid snapped at the air. No. The suitcase went still. Then it slowly turned away from me. Wonderful. My familiar had the emotional stability of a refrigerator with anger problems. I needed a better first meal. The academy storage hall stood beside the Western training yard. Low-ranked students could buy or borrow damaged equipment. The clerk looked at my new badge. Then he looked at the suitcase. Then he laughed. News traveled fast. What do you need? A broken weapon. He pointed toward 3 barrels. Anything in the left barrel is 1 silver. Middle is 3 silver. Right side is 5. I had 7 silver coins. That was everything I owned inside the academy. I searched the cheapest barrel, bent spearhead, cracked axe, rusty knives, a broken buckler. Then I found a ceremonial sword. The blade had a large chip near the tip, but most of the edge was intact. The metal was good. There were decorative letters on the hilt. No enchantment, no mana channel. What was this? Old parade sword, the clerk said. Looks nice from 10 steps away, useless in a real fight. Perfect. I paid 1 silver, 7 became 6. I carried the sword to an empty practice room. It was not empty for long. Mira walked in before I could close the door. She was one of the academy beast trainers, short black hair, heavy boots, leather gloves, the expression of a person who had been bitten by too many magical animals and blamed all future animals in advance. She looked at me, then she looked at the suitcase. No. I did not ask anything. You were going to. I was going to use the room. That thing tried to eat my whistle in the corridor. I looked down. The suitcase looked innocent. A suitcase should not have been able to look innocent. This one managed it. I will keep it away from your whistle. That sentence should not exist. I placed the ceremonial sword on the floor. The suitcase rolled toward it. Mira narrowed her eyes. What are you doing? Testing something. Before the ceremony, every first year had completed a basic physical exam. My impact score had been 9. My cutting score with a standard training knife had been 3. Those were poor numbers. A normal first-year fighter usually had an impact score between 12 and 18. Leon had 23 before bonding. I wanted clean numbers. I touched the old sword. The cold knowledge returned. The item had many properties: weight, hardness, shape. But the useful function was obvious: cutting. I chose it. The suitcase opened. The darkness inside stretched upward. The sword scraped across the floor. Mira took 1 step back. The blade disappeared first, then the guard, then the hilt. The lid slammed shut. A metal crunch came from inside, then another, then a sound like someone chewing a spoon. The suitcase shook happily. The transfer finished. My right elbow became hot. Pain stabbed through the joint. I raised my arm. A silver blade pushed out from the skin below my elbow. Mira grabbed the whistle at her neck. Do not blow that. You have a sword coming out of your arm. Yes, I noticed. The blade grew until it was a little longer than my hand. There was no blood. The skin had changed around the base. Smooth, hard, metallic. I moved the arm. The blade moved with it. I walked to the practice meter. Mira followed. Your impact was 9 this morning. Yes. You remember? I remember numbers. I struck the padded plate with my normal fist. The rune flashed. 18. Mira stopped breathing for 1 second. My impact had doubled. I had not expected that. The sword had not been made to punch things. Apparently, transferring its structural hardness also improved the stability of my arm. That was the first hidden consequence, not another power, a consequence of the same rule. I moved to the cutting target. My old cutting score had been 3. I swung the elbow blade. The hanging strip split. The meter clicked. 26. Mira walked to the side panel. No broken rune. She reset it. Again. I cut. 25. Again. 27. The average was 26. From 3 to 26. Mira went silent. That mattered more than cheering. She trained combat familiars every day. If she did not understand it, Ren probably would not understand it either. The suitcase rolled against my boot. Once. Twice. 3 times. It wants another sword, Mira said. It cannot have another. The suitcase rammed my ankle. It disagrees. 1 item per day. The suitcase froze. Then it slowly tipped onto its side. Mira stared at it. Is it dead? No. How do you know? It is being dramatic. For the first time, Mira laughed. Not at me. At the suitcase. Then the practice room door opened. Leon stood there with 4 students. Of course, some people could smell peace from across campus and took it personally. David, he said, I heard you were hiding in here with your luggage. Mira's smile vanished. Leon saw the meter. 27 was still displayed. Then he saw the blade on my arm. His face changed for 1 heartbeat. Fear was too strong a word. Concern. Then the smile returned. Cheap transformation trick? Mira answered before I could. I watched it happen. Leon looked annoyed. Useful. He turned toward the corridor. Students had already gathered. 12, then 20, then 30. Leon raised his voice. Fine, test it properly. He pointed toward the public strike machine in Western Yard. Every student knew that machine. It measured combat output and updated the academy board. Leon was 5th among the first years with 41 points. My name was not listed. Scores below 15 did not appear. If you reach 20, Leon said, loud enough for everyone to hear, I will give you 5 gold. Whispers moved through the crowd. 5 gold was 50 silver. And if I fail? You carry my training bags for a month. The students liked that. Mira shook her head. Not because she thought I would lose, because Leon was trying to choose the game. I looked at him. 10 gold. His smile narrowed. What? You are first place in resonance now. You can afford confidence. The crowd made a low sound. Leon could not step back. Not after the ceremony. Not after laughing at me in front of 600 people. 10. We went outside. By the time we reached the strike machine, more than 80 students followed us. 2 instructors came to watch. Leon stepped forward first. A red hawk landed on his shoulder. His familiar was a flame wing. Rare, expensive, very useful. Mana gathered around his arm. He punched the plate. 43. Students applauded. His old score had been 41. He had improved by 2 after bonding. Leon looked at me as if the story had already ended. I walked forward. The suitcase rolled behind me. Some students laughed again, much less loudly this time. I activated the blade. Silver pushed from my elbow. The laughter stopped. I turned my body. 1 clean cut. The enchanted plate rang. The machine screamed. For 1 second, nothing appeared. Then the score burned into the crystal. 46. Nobody spoke. Leon stared. Mira crossed her arms. 1 instructor checked the machine. He touched the calibration rune. It is valid. That sentence hit harder than my cut. The yard erupted. My name appeared on the public ranking board. David Ash, 46, 12th place among first years, from unlisted to 12th in 1 afternoon. Students started shouting questions. What kind of familiar is that? Can it eat armor? Can it eat magic weapons? Can it eat Leon? The last question got the loudest reaction. Leon's face turned red. I held out my hand. 10 gold. He looked around. More than 80 witnesses, 2 instructors. Mira. No way to pretend the bet had not happened. He reached into his coat. 10 gold coins fell into my palm. My resources went from 6 silver to 10 gold and 6 silver, more than 100 times what I had owned 1 hour earlier. Leon leaned closer. This proves nothing. It proved 46. His jaw tightened. And 10 gold. Someone behind him laughed. Then another. Then half the yard. Leon had started the laughter in the ceremony. Now he stood inside the same sound. He walked away. His 4 friends followed. The crowd stayed around me. That mattered. Winning was useful. Winning in public was evidence. I had learned what happened to private truth. It could become 12. By sunset, the Academy board had changed again. My combat score remained 46. My official combat rank was 12th. My familiar classification had changed from useless to under review. Students still called me Suitcase Boy, but they said it differently now. A joke became a title very quickly when the joke took 10 gold from a noble. I bought dinner. I was not stupid enough to spend my winnings on a feast. 4 silver was enough. Hot beef stew, fresh bread, roasted onions, a little butter, sweet black tea. The stew was thick. The beef fell apart under the spoon. The onions were dark at the edges and soft inside. I tore the bread open. Steam came out. I spread butter over it and watched it melt. The suitcase sat beside the table. It rolled toward my bowl. No. Closer. You already ate. It bumped the table leg. 1 item per day. It tipped onto its side again. Mira sat across from me with her own bowl. She claimed somebody needed to stop my familiar from eating furniture. She pointed her spoon at it. I hate it. The suitcase clicked. It hates you too. I know. She ate another spoonful. Ren will hear about today. He was always going to. You embarrassed Leon. He offered the bet. That will not matter to Leon. It matters to the witnesses. Mira paused, then nodded. She understood. After dinner, I returned to West Dormitory. After the sword, food, and basic supplies, I had 10 gold and 2 silver left. My impact had risen from 9 to 18. My cutting score had risen from 3 to an average of 26. My public combat rank had risen from nothing to 12th. Strength, resources, status. All 3 had moved. 1 day, 1 feeding. The price was also clear. I could not feed the suitcase again until tomorrow, and my elbow hurt. The skin around the blade had become red. I could keep the blade active for less than 1 minute before the pain became sharp. Power was not free. That was fine. Free things usually had hidden owners. I reached my room. Someone stepped out from the dark stairwell. Aria, Examiner Ren's daughter. She had stood beside the archive desk during the ceremony. She held a folded sheet of paper. Her face was pale. I need to show you something. I opened my door. She did not move. She looked down the corridor first. Then she handed me the page. It was a copy of my official resonance record. David Ash, assigned familiar, unidentified living baggage, official resonance. 12. I looked at her. I have seen this number before. That is the problem. She pointed at the time mark. My second test had happened shortly after noon. The record had been created 23 minutes earlier, before Ren announced the crystal error, before the replacement crystal appeared, before I ever scored 12. For the first time that day, I stopped thinking about money. Aria looked at the suitcase, then at me. My father knew your result before you took the test. Behind us, inside the room, the suitcase lid clicked by itself. Once, slowly, like it had heard her too. I let Aria inside. She stood near the door. The suitcase stood between us, not because I had placed it there. It rolled there by itself. Aria looked down. Does it always do that? Do what? Guard you. I looked at the suitcase. It faced her. That is new. I am not here to hurt you. The lid clicked. Aria frowned. Did it understand me? I hope not. Why? Because I have complained about it all afternoon. The lid clicked twice. I looked away. Aria almost smiled. Almost. Then she placed 3 papers on my small desk. The record you saw is a copy. I cannot remove the original. Archive entries have a tracing seal. Can your father remove them? No. Can anyone? Someone with registry authority. That was more important. Ren was an examiner. He could alter test procedures. He could not rewrite central archive traces. Someone above him either helped or had created a way around the system. Arya pointed to the second paper. It was a payment record. Examiner Ren had purchased a house in the Northern District 8 days ago. Price, 2,400 gold. I read the number twice. Ren's annual salary was less than 400. Where did the money come from? The listed lender does not exist. And the real one? Arya swallowed. I think Lord Vale paid for it. Leon's father. That fit. What do you want from me? Her eyes sharpened. I want to know whether my father destroyed your future for a house. That answer was better than sympathy. I did not need someone to feel bad for me. I needed someone who wanted the same truth. What can you access? Test schedules, equipment service records, archive copies, not sealed donor accounts. That is enough for now. She looked surprised. You trust me? No. That answer also surprised her. I trust what you showed me. Those are different things. The suitcase clicked. Arya looked down. Your familiar agrees. Unfortunately. She finally smiled. It was small. Real. Tomorrow, she said, the first-year placement trials begin. I know. They moved your group. To where? Combat Lane 7. I knew Lane 7. Everyone did. It was the obstacle lane. Stone targets, moving barriers, a timed climb. Normally students with physical familiars used it. Who changed it? My father signed the order. There was the second move. Ren had failed to bury me with 12. Now he wanted the academy to watch me fail somewhere else. Good, that saved me the trouble of finding an audience. Arya gathered the papers. I kept one finger on the copy of my false result. How many students see placement trials? All first years, most second years. Sponsors watch the top lanes. So more than 600. Yes. Good. She stared at me. You are not worried. I am. You do not look worried. Looking worried does not improve the lane. That time her smile stayed longer. At the door she stopped. David. Yes? My father was not always like this. That mattered, not because it excused him, because it meant he had a reason. Reasons could be pressure points. I believe you. You do? I believe people usually need a reason before they sell something important. She nodded once, then left. I slept badly, not because of Ren, because the suitcase snored. I had no better word for it. Every few minutes, the leather vibrated, then one wheel squeaked, then silence. At sunrise, I sat on the floor and counted my options. 1 feeding, 1 day. Yesterday, I had chosen cutting. That property was still inside me. The system's rule did not say the old property disappeared after a day. That was important. The suitcase could add 1 new property per feeding. It did not replace the old one. But I could only manifest 1 property at full strength at a time. I learned that when I tried to keep the elbow blade active while reinforcing my fist. The blade faded. My fist hardened. Same source. 1 active function at full output. That kept the rule simple. It also meant today's choice mattered. Combat Lane 7 had a climbing wall, moving stone arms, falling weights, a final impact gate. A stronger weapon would not solve all of it. I needed movement. I went to the equipment market before breakfast. Students sold damaged gear there. A second year named Kai was trying to get rid of a pair of old jumping boots. 1 boot had a broken strap, the other had a cracked rune plate. 6 gold, he said. 1. He laughed. These were 25 new. They are broken. 1 rune is broken. The other is cracked. It still releases force. Then use them. Kai stopped laughing. 3 gold. 2. 2 and 5 silver. I looked at the boots. The suitcase rolled closer. Its lid trembled. It wanted them. 2 gold. Kai looked at my badge. Then recognition appeared. Suitcase boy. Yes. You took 10 gold from Leon. Yes. You can afford 2 and 5. I can also walk away. The suitcase turned away from the boots. Traitor. Kai sighed. 2. I paid. My money dropped from 10 gold and 2 silver to 8 gold and 2 silver. The suitcase swallowed both boots as one matched object. I had wondered whether it would count them separately. It did not. Useful. Leather vanished, buckles vanished, then the damaged rune plates disappeared. The suitcase shook. A few seconds later, force gathered inside my legs. The functional property was simple. Release stored force downward. Jumping. I tested it in an empty courtyard. Normal standing jump, less than 1 meter, with the property active, 4 meters. I hit a tree branch. The branch broke. I hit the ground badly. Mira, who had somehow appeared exactly when humiliation became possible, stared at me. You flew into a tree. I noticed. Was that the plan? No. Good. She helped me stand. I tested again. 3 meters, then 2. Control mattered more than height. The property drained stamina fast. 5 strong jumps made my thighs shake. 7 made breathing hard. Price. Good. A power with a price could be planned. By mid-morning, Lane 7 was full. 600 first years, at least 200 older students, instructors, a row of sponsors in shaded seats. The Academy ranking board stood behind the lanes. My name was still 12th in combat output. Leon's was 5th. When my group was called, whispers followed me. Suitcase boy. He has the arm blade. He scored 46. Leon said the machine was damaged. Mira said it was not. That was how reputation moved, not as truth, as competing stories. Lane 7 had 8 competitors. Leon was not one of them. His lane was 3. He did not need to compete with me directly. He only needed to watch. Ren stood beside Lane 7 with a scoring slate. Our eyes met. He showed nothing. The first obstacle was a 50-meter sprint through swinging stone bars. Second was a wall 9 meters high. Third was a field of pressure tiles. Fourth was a moving target section. Final was the iron impact gate. Time limit, 3 minutes. Passing score, 60 points. Elite score, 85. The first student ran. A bear familiar increased his strength, 72 points. The second used a windfox, 78. The third failed the wall, 49. Then Ren called me. David Ash. The crowd grew louder. Leon stood 20 steps away. He had brought friends, of course. Ren raised his hand. Begin. I ran. The first stone bar swung at my chest. I did not use the jumping property. Too early. I ducked. Second bar. Step left. Third. Jump. The force in my legs released. I rose 3 meters. The stone bar passed below me. The crowd shouted. I landed running. First section. 14 seconds. The best previous time was 21. A murmur moved across the stands. First micro-victory, no celebration. I reached the wall, 9 meters. I jumped once, 4 meters. My fingers caught the first ridge. I pulled. Second jump from the wall. My feet released force sideways. I shot upward. For 1 terrible second, I had no idea where I was going. Then my hand caught the top. I rolled over. 29 seconds total. The instructor at the lane blinked. Ren wrote something. Pressure tiles next. The floor had 30 square plates. Some launched wooden spears. Some released smoke. Some dropped under weight. The safe route changed each run. This was where familiar senses mattered. I had none. So I watched the dust. A spear tile had tiny holes. A falling tile had cleaner edges. Smoke tiles were warmer, not magic. Details. I crossed 17 plates. 1 tile moved under my foot. I jumped. A wooden spear shot beneath me. The stands shouted again. 44 seconds. Then I reached the moving targets. 5 stone discs. Each had to be broken or touched with a weapon. The elbow blade appeared. 1, cut, 2, jump, 3, spin, 4. My arm screamed. The blade weakened. The 5th disc rose high. I switched properties. The blade faded. Jumping force entered my legs. I launched upward. At the peak, I switched again. The force left my legs. The blade returned. I cut the 5th disc in half. The crowd went silent for 1 heartbeat. Then the entire lane erupted. I landed badly. My knee nearly failed. Price, 1 minute and 16 seconds. Final gate, a slab of enchanted iron. Breaking it gave 20 points. Denting it gave 10. Touching it gave 3. Most students used familiar attacks. I had 1 tired arm. I deactivated the blade. My forearm hardened with the sword's structural strength. I ran. 2 steps before the gate, I activated the jumping property. 1 burst. Forward, not upward. My body became a projectile. Then I switched to the sword property just before impact. My shoulder hit the gate. The sound was enormous. Pain exploded down my side. The gate moved. Not much, but enough. A deep dent appeared in the center. I fell backward. For 2 seconds, I saw only sky. Then I heard the scorekeeper. Time, 1 minute and 32 seconds. The lane went quiet. The score runes lit one by one. Speed, 19. Climb, 20. Hazard field, 18. Targets, 20. Gate, 10. Total, 87. Someone shouted. Then everyone shouted. Elite score started at 85. I had scored 87. My placement rank updated. 3rd in lane trials. 12th combat rank became 9th overall. Ren's hand tightened around his slate. Leon stopped smiling. More important, the sponsors were talking. One silver-haired woman pointed at the suitcase. Another man asked an instructor a question. My status had moved. I got up slowly. My shoulder hurt. My right knee hurt. My lungs burned. But I was standing. Ren approached. Unexpected. Was the lane also unexpected? His eyes changed. Very slightly. He knew what I meant. You were assigned according to physical profile. My physical profile said 9 impact yesterday. A few students nearby heard that. Ren noticed them. He changed direction immediately. Then you have improved. Yes. He wanted the conversation over. Leon did not. He walked into the lane. Jumping boots. I looked at him. What? That is what you used. Kai, the second year, who had sold them to me, was standing among the spectators. Leon pointed toward him. He bought damaged rune boots this morning. The academy prohibits outside equipment during trials. There was his move. Not stupid. If I had worn the boots, I would be disqualified. Ren looked almost relieved. Is this true? Kai hesitated. Hundreds of faces turned toward him. He bought them. The crowd shifted. Leon smiled again. Remove his score. I looked at Ren, then at Leon, then at the suitcase. Where are the boots? Leon frowned. What? You said I used them. Where are they? In your familiar. That is not outside equipment. It ate them. A laugh came from somewhere. Leon ignored it. The effect is still from equipment. Mira stepped forward. Then every familiar that eats meat before a trial is outside equipment. That got more laughter. Leon's face tightened. That is different. Why? Because boots are equipment. They are not boots anymore. They became his power. Yes, Mira said. That is what familiars do. Ren looked at her. Mira looked back. He could not dismiss an academy trainer without creating a second problem. One of the senior instructors approached. Old man, white beard, master soul, head of practical trials. He had watched my entire run. He looked at the suitcase. Can you reproduce the effect without the boots present? I raised one hand. The boots no longer exist. Show me. I walked to the measuring line. My legs were tired. I still released enough force to jump more than 2 meters. I landed. Soul nodded. Bonded ability. Leon's face went pale. Ren said nothing. Master Soul raised his voice. The score stands. The crowd roared. Leon had tried to remove my result publicly. Now the academy itself had confirmed it publicly. That mattered more than 87. My reputation changed again. Not lucky, not cheating. Verified. Leon turned toward Kai. You sold him those? Kai lifted both hands. He paid. For broken trash? 2 gold. The crowd heard that too. Someone shouted, Leon lost 10 gold to trash yesterday. Another voice yelled, trash is expensive now. The laughter came back. Leon's flame wing opened its wings. Heat rolled through the lane. That crossed a line. Master Soul turned his head. Control your familiar. Leon froze. Every student nearby saw it. A teacher had just warned the academy's new first-place resonance student because of me. Leon recalled the flame wing. He walked away. No speech, no threat. Good. Quiet enemies were usually learning. At the end of the trials, the academy gave rewards. Elite scores above 85 earned 5 gold. Top 10 overall earned access to the bronze training hall. My money returned from 8 gold and 2 silver to 13 gold and 2 silver. My status rose to 9th overall. My strength gained controlled burst movement. All 3 moved again. I ate lunch with Mira and, unexpectedly, Arya. Arya chose a small table near the kitchen. There were bowls of chicken soup, rice with butter, roasted carrots, thin slices of pork with salt and sweet sauce. I had not realized how hungry I was until the smell reached me. I ate 2 bowls. The suitcase sat under the table. It stared at Mira's boots. Mira moved her feet away. No. The suitcase rolled closer. No. It clicked. You had breakfast. It clicked louder. You ate boots. The suitcase hit her chair. Arya covered her mouth. Her shoulders shook. Mira pointed at her. Do not encourage it. I am not. You are laughing. That is different. I drank soup. For 10 minutes, nobody talked about rankings. That was nice. Then Arya slid a small brass token across the table. Archive service mark. What does it show? The replacement crystal used yesterday was serviced 3 days ago. Problem? It was not supposed to be. I waited. The service report says its resonance limiter was replaced. Mira stopped eating. What limiter? Exactly. Arya looked at me. Standard testing crystals do not have resonance limiters. There was our next thread. Who signed the service report? A technician named Bren. Where is he? Still on campus. Mira leaned back. This sounds less like a test problem and more like a crime. Arya's face became still. It is. No romance in that moment. No soft music. Just a daughter realizing her father had probably helped steal a future. I changed the subject long enough for her to finish eating. That mattered too. After lunch, my name was posted on the academy board, 9th overall. A small crowd stood around it. When I approached, people moved aside. Yesterday they had pointed. Today they made space. Status was strange. The number itself had not changed me. It changed how much room other people thought I deserved. Then I saw the note under my name. Special review scheduled. Tomorrow. Signed by Examiner Wren. The suitcase rolled forward. Its lid clicked. Mira read the notice. He is not giving up. No. Arya looked at the signature. My father does not personally schedule first-year reviews. Then he is worried. I touched the edge of the notice. My second day ended with 13 gold and 2 silver, a combat rank of 9th, 2 stored properties, cutting and force release, and 1 new fact. The crystal that turned 91 into 12 had contained a device that should not exist. That night, somebody entered the equipment service room. By morning, Technician Bren was gone. The third day began with an empty bed. Bren lived in the staff quarters. Arya checked before sunrise. His clothes were gone. His travel trunk was gone. His work badge remained on the table. People who left normally took the badge. People who ran often forgot the small things. Wren announced that Bren had taken emergency family leave. Arya found no leave request. That made 3 lies before breakfast. I had 1 feeding. I needed something that helped find what people wanted hidden. I walked through the academy market with the suitcase beside me. Mira came along because, according to her, allowing me to shop alone had already caused a tree injury. I ignored that. We found a locksmith selling damaged magic tools. Most were too expensive. 1 item sat in a wooden box, a small brass key. Its teeth shifted when Mana touched it. Universal apprentice key, the locksmith said. Opens low-grade practice locks. Rune is cracked. Works maybe 1 time in 4. How much? 5 gold. 2. 4. 2. 3 and 5 silver. The suitcase opened slightly. The locksmith saw it. You are that student? Yes. The one whose bag eats things? Yes. He picked up the key. 3. I started walking away. 2 and 5. I kept walking. 2. I stopped. Mira sighed. You are enjoying this. No. You are. I paid 2 gold. 13 gold and 2 silver became 11 gold and 2 silver. The suitcase swallowed the key. Chewing metal had become a normal sound in my life. That was not a sentence I had expected to think. The property settled into my right index finger. Not metal, not shape, function, opening. I touched a simple padlock. My fingertip became warm. The lock clicked open. Mira stared. You are now a criminal's favorite person. I'm still deciding whether that is praise. We tested limits. A cheap lock opened instantly. An academy cabinet took 3 seconds. An enchanted silver lock did not open at all. The property was not absolute. Good. Anything absolute was dangerous. We went to Bren's service room. The door had been sealed by Wren. A red wax mark crossed the lock. Breaking it openly would be stupid, so I did not. Arya met us in the hallway with a cleaning cart. She wore an archive worker's gray coat. Mira looked at the cart. You planned this. Arya looked at me. He plans worse things. We waited until noon. Students filled the corridor. That was intentional. Private evidence could disappear. Public evidence was harder. A notice on Bren's door said the room was closed for safety inspection. I stood in front of it. Leon appeared before I even touched the lock. He had 2 friends today instead of 4. Progress. What are you doing? Reading. You cannot enter that room. Why? It is sealed. That is what the sign says. His eyes moved to Arya. Your father knows you are here? Arya's face went cold. Do you know? Leon shut his mouth. Interesting. He knew enough to fear her question. I turned to the crowd. There were maybe 40 students nearby. Not enough. I waited. Leon became impatient. You are trying to steal service records. I am trying to ask why a technician disappeared the day before my review. That sentence spread instantly. More students stopped. 50, 70. Someone ran to tell friends. The academy had discovered a new sport, watching my problems. Ren arrived 5 minutes later. Perfect. His face remained calm until he saw Arya. What is happening? I pointed at the notice. I would like access to the service record for the crystal used in my test. No. Why? Internal academy documents. Then please read it for us. Ren's jaw moved once. Your review concerns your familiar, not a resolved test. Resolved? Yes. Then the record should be harmless. The crowd became quiet. Ren looked around. He understood the trap. If he refused too strongly, everyone would think the document mattered. If he opened the room, I might find something. So, he chose authority. This discussion is over. He turned. I spoke clearly. Then I request Master Sol as witness. That stopped him. Students murmured. Yesterday, Sol had ruled in my favor. I was not asking Ren for permission. I was asking for another authority in public. Ren turned back. You are becoming disruptive. Yesterday, I was called fraudulent. I did not call you fraudulent. Leon did. Leon looked annoyed that his name had been dragged back into the center. I continued. You allowed the challenge. Master Sol confirmed my result. Today the technician connected to my resonance crystal is gone. I want the service record read by a neutral instructor. That sounded reasonable. Reasonable was dangerous when your enemy needed secrecy. Master Sol appeared 10 minutes later. Somebody had found him. By then more than 100 students filled the corridor. Sol listened. He looked at Ren. Open the room! Ren could not refuse his superior in front of 100 witnesses. The seal was cut. The door opened. The room smelled of oil, dust, and hot metal. Shelves lined the walls, testing crystals, rune plates, tools. Bren's desk had been emptied, too clean. Mira noticed it too. No papers. Arya walked to the crystal rack. The replacement crystal from my exam was gone. Ren spoke quickly. It may have been moved for repair. By Bren? I asked. Possibly. On emergency family leave? His eyes sharpened. I walked to the central cabinet. Locked. Ren stepped forward. Do not touch that. Master Sol looked at him. What is inside? Restricted maintenance components. Then open it. Ren reached into his coat. No key. He checked again. For the first time, his calm broke. Bren had the key. I looked down at my hand. Today's feeding suddenly became useful. I may be able to open it. Ren laughed once. Not because it was funny, because he wanted the idea to sound ridiculous. With what? I touched the lock. My fingertip warmed. The lock resisted. 3 seconds. 5. 7. Pain spread through my hand. The rune flashed red. I almost stopped. Then the suitcase rolled against my ankle. One bump. I pushed more mana. The lock clicked. The cabinet opened. The corridor went silent. Mira whispered, "That is terrible." What? I can never hide snacks from you again. The crowd laughed. Ren did not. Inside the cabinet were spare crystal parts, focus rings, mana filters, calibration pins, and 3 small black plates. Arya picked one up with cloth. What is this? Master Sol took it. His face changed. He knew. Resonance limiter. Ren said nothing. Sol turned. These are prohibited in entrance testing. That sentence crossed the corridor like a blade. Everyone heard it. A student near the door said, "He really was cheated." Another answered, 91 was real. Then louder, 91 was real. The phrase spread. Ren raised his voice. These components could be used for research. Then where is the research record? Arya asked. Her voice shook slightly, not from fear, from anger. Her father looked at her. That hurt him. I saw it. Good villains did not stop being human when they became guilty. Sometimes being human made guilt worse. Ren lowered his voice. Arya, enough. No. That single word was quiet. The crowd heard it anyway. She held up the service report. Bren installed a limiter in the replacement crystal 3 days before David's test. Murmurs became shouting. Master Soul took the paper. He read it, then looked at Ren. Is this authentic? Ren could lie, but Arya was archive staff. The tracing seal was visible. He chose a smaller defense. I authorized no such installation. That was careful. Not I did not know. Not I did not ask. I authorized no such installation. He was building distance from Bren. Then Bren acted alone? I asked. Ren looked at me. I did not say that. You said he was on family leave. He is. Without a leave request? His face changed again. Arya had not announced that publicly. Now it was out. Master Soul turned toward her. No request? None. The corridor exploded. Ren's public position collapsed in stages. First the limiter existed, then Bren had installed one, then Bren was missing, then Ren's explanation for the disappearance had no paperwork. Nobody had proved bribery yet, but the story had become impossible to bury. My status did not rise by a ranking number. It rose another way. People started saying my name without Suitcase Boy. That was bigger. Master Soul sealed the cabinet himself. Until the board reviews this matter, Examiner Ren is removed from David Ash's testing. That was the public humiliation, not a punch, not blood. Authority removed in front of students. Ren stood perfectly still, then he looked at me. For the first time, I saw real anger, not Leon's childish anger, adult anger, calculated. He had lost something. He was now dangerous. The Academy issued me a preliminary compensation token that afternoon. Because the entrance test was under investigation, my revoked scholarship was temporarily restored at half value. 15 gold for the month, paid immediately. My money rose from 11 gold and 2 silver to 26 gold and 2 silver. My status rose from 9th-ranked curiosity to student under formal review for elite placement. My strength gained an opening property that could bypass simple locks. All 3 scales moved again, and the entire academy had witnessed why. At dinner, nobody laughed when the suitcase rolled through the hall. People moved their bags away from it. That was wise. I bought grilled chicken, rice with egg, a bowl of clear broth, pickled vegetables. Arya sat with us again. Mira placed her boots on the bench. The suitcase stared at them. They are not food, Mira said. Click. They are feet containers. Click. Do not argue with me. Arya laughed. Mira looked at her. You are encouraging it again. I am sorry. You are not. No. For a few minutes, the day felt normal. Then Arya stopped eating. My father sent me a message. I waited. He told me to go home. Will you? No. Mira's expression softened. Arya looked at her food. He said I do not understand what I am involved in. He may be right, I said. She looked at me sharply. I am still not going. I know. That was the first moment she looked at me not as evidence, not as a victim, as someone standing beside her. I did not say anything dramatic. Neither did she. The suitcase stole a carrot from Mira's plate. The moment ended. Mira grabbed the carrot. The suitcase grabbed it harder. You cannot eat today. It pulled. 1 feeding. It pulled again. The carrot does not count. I looked at her. It might. She froze. The suitcase froze. Mira slowly released the carrot. Fine. Keep it. The suitcase dropped the carrot. It had only wanted victory. I understood that. That evening, the special review was cancelled. Ren no longer controlled it. Instead, Master Soul scheduled me for the Bronze Hall trial the next morning. Success there would move me into the top training group. Failure would keep me 9th. I returned to my room. 26 gold and 2 silver. 3 stored properties. Cutting. Force release. Opening. 1 mystery technician missing. 1 examiner removed. 1 angry noble son becoming quieter. The suitcase stood near the wall. I took off my coat. Good day. Click. You ate a key. Click. You did not eat Mira's carrot. Silence. I lay down. Then someone knocked. 3 times. Not Arya. Not Mira. I opened the door. A man in a dark blue coat stood outside. He wore the silver wolf badge of House Vale. Behind him were 2 academy guards. Not Leon. Older. Calm. David Ash? Yes. My name is Corin Vale. I knew the name. Lord Vale's younger brother. Administrator of the family's academy donations. Second step of the ladder had just arrived before I had finished dealing with the first. He smiled. My brother would like to purchase your familiar. The suitcase lid opened behind me. Corin's smile disappeared. I looked at him. How much? 500 gold. That was enough to change my family's life. I said no. Corin stared at me for a moment. Perhaps he had expected anger, perhaps greed, perhaps negotiation. Instead, he got one word. No. Do you understand the offer? Yes. 500 gold. Yes. Your mother repairs clothing for copper coins. That told me they had investigated me. Good. Now I knew the conversation was not about buying a suitcase, it was about measuring me. I leaned against the door. Then you understand why 500 is not enough. His eyes narrowed. Finally, a small reaction. How much? It is not for sale. You just said 500 was not enough. I wanted to know whether you would increase it. Mira would have laughed. Corin did not. House Vale can make academy life comfortable. So far, House Vale has made it profitable. He looked at me. 10 gold from Leon, 15 from the restored scholarship. He knew my numbers. I liked that less. 25 gold is not protection. No. Tomorrow, you enter the Bronze Hall. Yes. Accidents happen there. Now we had moved from offer to threat. 2 academy guards stood behind him. Witnesses. I raised my voice slightly. Are you warning me that House Vale plans an accident? One guard looked at the other. Corin's expression changed. Very small. He had forgotten the most important lesson of my week. I liked witnesses. I am warning you that strength attracts danger. Thank you. I started closing the door. His hand stopped it. Lord Vale does not like being embarrassed. Neither do 600 students. The guard on the left coughed. It might have been a laugh. Corin removed his hand. Tomorrow. Yes. He walked away. The suitcase rolled to my side. Its lid clicked. 500 gold would buy many swords. The lid clicked twice. I know. It clicked again. No, you cannot eat gold. The lid opened. I reconsidered. I actually do not know that. The lid closed. The 4th day began with money trying to kill me. The Bronze Hall was not a room. It was an underground training chamber beneath the academy. 21st years entered each week, usually fewer than half passed. The hall created mana constructs based on the entrant's combat level. The goal was simple: reach the central bronze bell, ring it, leave. Students were allowed 1 familiar. No weapons from outside, no potions, no assistance. The entire trial was observed through viewing crystals in the main arena. More than 1,000 people could watch. Perfect. The problem was my feeding. I needed an item that helped against many different threats. Cutting was good, jumping was good, opening was specific. I went to the academy salvage shop at sunrise. A broken buckler caught my eye. Steel rim, layered hide, enchantment destroyed. Its purpose was not metal. Its purpose was taking a hit. How much? 4 gold. 2. The clerk looked at the suitcase. 3. 2. He sighed. Does everyone negotiate like this where you come from? No, I am just poor. You have 26 gold. Rumors were efficient. Then I am carefully poor. He sold it for 2. 26 gold and 2 silver became 24 gold and 2 silver. The suitcase ate the shield. It took longer than the key. The leather stretched. Metal groaned. Then the new functions settled through my chest and arms. Resistance, not invulnerability, not armor. My skin could temporarily spread impact across a wider area. We tested it with Mira. She hit me with a wooden staff. Normal. Pain. Property active. She hit me again. Still pain. Less sharp. Harder, I said. She hit me harder. I took 1 step back. Again. She smiled. That worried me. The next strike sent me into a wall. I sat on the floor. Mira leaned on the staff. You said harder, not attempted murder. You are alive. The suitcase rolled over and bumped my head. Stop helping. The Bronze Hall opened at noon. My name was 4th. Leon had passed the trial yesterday with a time of 6 minutes and 41 seconds. That put him 7th among first years. The current record was 5 minutes and 12 seconds. I entered through the iron gate. The arena viewing crystal transmitted everything. I could not hear the crowd. That made it easier. First chamber. 3 stone wolves. I used the elbow blade. One jumped. I stepped aside. Cut. The blade went through its neck joint. Second attacked low. Shield property. Its head hit my forearm. The impact spread. Pain, but no broken bone. I kicked it away. Third circled. I used force release. One jump. Wall. Push. I changed direction in the air. The wolf missed. Blade. Done. First chamber. 42 seconds. Fast. Second chamber. A corridor with falling iron blocks. I ran. Force release. Short jumps. Not maximum. Control. One block fell behind me. Another ahead. I used the shield property through my shoulder and hit the side of the block before it landed. Not enough to stop it. Enough to change its angle. Gap. I passed. 1 minute and 38 seconds total. Third chamber. Locked bronze door. I almost laughed. Opening property. Finger to lock. Click. The viewing crowd probably liked that. 2 minutes. Fourth chamber. The hall changed. It was not supposed to. I knew, because Mira had explained the trial. Bronze hall constructs matched first-year limits. What appeared in front of me was a black iron guardian. 2 meters tall. 4 arms. Core in the chest. Silver runes. That was a second-year construct. Maybe third. Somebody had changed the difficulty. Corin's warning had been efficient. I had no proof yet. The guardian moved. Fast. First punch. Shield property. I blocked. My entire body left the ground. I hit the wall. Pain flashed white. My resistance spread the force. It did not erase it. The guardian came again. I jumped. One arm missed. Second caught my ankle. It threw me. I hit the floor. The arena around the viewing crystals would be reacting now. Good. Witnesses. The guardian lifted 1 foot. I rolled. Stone cracked where my head had been. I used the blade. Cut the ankle joint. Sparks. No real damage. Too hard. I had a sword's cutting function, not a legendary weapon. The guardian punched. I switched to shield. Blocked. My arm went numb. 3 minutes and 12 seconds. I needed the core. Chest. Protected. Opening property would not help. Or maybe it would. The class rule said functional property. Opening. Not lock-picking. Opening. I had assumed the finger only worked on locks because I had fed it a key. That was my mistake. A key's function was to open what was closed. I ran at the guardian. It swung. Force release. I jumped over 1 arm. Second arm hit me. Shield property. I rotated with the strike instead of resisting. Pain. Still moving. I landed on its shoulder. My right hand touched the chest plate. I switched. Opening. Heat entered my finger. The chest plate had no keyhole. It had hinges. It had a latch inside. The property reached for the idea of closed. The plate clicked. Opened. The viewing hall must have gone insane. I shoved my elbow inside. Blade. 1 cut. The core split. The guardian froze. 4 arms dropped. The entire construct collapsed. 4 minutes and 8 seconds. I stood there breathing hard. That was the third consequence of the cheat. The transferred property cared about function more than shape. A key was not useful because it had teeth. It was useful because it opened. That made ordinary objects much more dangerous. Fifth chamber. The bronze bell. 3 moving targets protected it. I was tired, my ribs hurt, 1 ankle was swelling. I did not need to destroy everything. The goal was the bell. Force release, jump, first target missed, shield property. Second struck my side. I took it. Opening. My hand touched the bell cage. Click, blade, cut the bell rope. The bronze bell rang. 4 minutes and 57 seconds. New first-year record. I had beaten 5 minutes and 12 seconds by 15 seconds. The exit opened. I walked into the main arena. The sound hit me first. More than 1,000 people were shouting, not laughing, shouting my name. David, David, David. The suitcase rolled behind me. Someone started shouting, bag. That spread too. Bag, bag, bag. I preferred David. The ranking board updated. Bronze Hall first place. Overall first-year practical rank. 4th overall student ranking after academic scores were included. I had started 3 days ago as official resonance 12. Now I was 4th in the Academy's first-year standings. Strength moved, status moved. Money came next. Bronze Hall record reward, 20 gold, new total, 44 gold and 2 silver. Then Master Saul stepped into the arena. His face was not happy. The cheering lowered. He held a black metal control plate. Who altered Chamber 4? Silence. Ren was not supervising. Corin Vale sat among the donors. His expression did not move. Leon sat 2 rows below him. He looked confused. Interesting. Maybe Leon had not known. Saul raised the control plate. Chamber 4 was raised 2 difficulty tiers after David Ash entered the trial. The arena erupted again, this time angry. Students knew what that meant. A second-year construct could break bones. A third-year one could kill an unprepared first year. Saul continued. The override came from a donor access seal. Now every head turned toward the sponsor section. Corin remained seated. The silver wolf badge on his coat suddenly looked brighter. Master Saul looked directly at him. Administrator Corin Vale, your seal was used. Corin stood. At least 6 staff members can access my administrative desk. Reasonable defense. Not enough. I did not authorize the change. There it was again. Same pattern as Ren. I did not authorize. I know nothing, Saul said. Until the board investigates, House Vale's donor access privileges are suspended. Public, in front of more than 1,000 people. Corin's face changed. Finally, not anger, shock. House Vale had funded academy facilities for years. Access was status. Status was power. It had just been taken away while students watched. The crowd reacted instantly. People whispered about the resonance test, the missing technician, the Bronze Hall. Separate incidents were becoming a pattern. That was more dangerous to House Vale than any one piece of proof. Corin looked at me. I looked back. I did not smile. That would have made it personal. I wanted it structural. Someone behind me shouted, 500 gold was too cheap. My head turned. The guard from last night stood near the gate, the same one who had almost laughed. Corin went pale. Master Saul looked at him. 500? The guard realized he had spoken too loudly. Too late. The arena smelled blood. I answered clearly. Administrator Corin offered 500 gold for my familiar last night. The crowd exploded. Corin's control broke. That was a private offer. 2 academy guards were present. 1,000 witnesses heard the confirmation. The guard raised his hand slowly. I was present. The second guard nodded. Corin closed his eyes for half a second. First he had tried money. Then an accident happened the next day. Nobody could prove the 2 events were connected. Nobody needed to. Reputation lived on probability. His collapsed in real time. A student shouted, "How much for the next accident?" Laughter spread through the arena, not light laughter, cruel laughter. Corin Vale, administrator of one of the Academy's richest donor families, walked out under the same sound I had heard during my ceremony. That was the 4th public reversal. Leon did not follow him immediately. He remained seated. His face had gone white. For the first time, I wondered how much Leon actually knew about his father's business. Not enough, perhaps. That made him more useful alive and angry than destroyed. After the arena emptied, Arya found me in the infirmary. The healer wrapped my ribs. 3 bruised, none broken. My ankle was strained. Recovery time. 2 days if I rested. 4 if I did not. I would not. Arya stood at the foot of the bed. Her eyes were wet. She was angry about that too. Corin visited my father last night. When? After he visited you. Did you hear them? 1 sentence. I waited. My father said, I already did what your brother asked. There it was. Not proof of the exact crime, but close. What did Corin say? Then finish it. Mira, sitting beside the bed, stopped eating an apple. That family has terrible communication skills. Arya laughed once despite herself, then covered her face. I looked away until she recovered. Her father was guilty. Every new piece made that harder to deny. Being right did not make it painless. When she lowered her hands, I gave her my cup of water. She took it. Thank you. No problem. That was all. No confession, no dramatic promise. She stayed. That mattered more. That evening we ate in my room because I did not want another crowd. Mira brought roasted potatoes. Arya brought meat pies. I bought soup. The room smelled of pepper, baked dough, and butter. The suitcase sat in the corner. It stared at the pies. No. Click. You ate a shield. Click. The shield cost 2 gold. Click. The pie cost 4 copper. The suitcase rolled toward the pie. That is not an argument. It opened its lid. Mira slapped it shut. The suitcase turned toward her slowly. Try me. The lid clicked. Mira clicked her tongue back. Arya laughed so hard she nearly dropped her bowl. For 20 minutes, nobody talked about House Vale. We ate. The potatoes were crisp outside and soft inside. The pies had beef, onion, and thick brown gravy. The soup was simple chicken broth with herbs, warm food, a small room, rain against the window. For the first time since the ceremony, I felt something close to safe. Then the suitcase started shaking. Not hunger, different. The leather pulled inward, the locks rattled. I stood. Mira reached for her whistle. Arya backed away. The suitcase opened. A small black shard fell onto the floor. Metal. No. Crystal. It was the remains of something the suitcase had eaten earlier. But today it had eaten the shield. The shard did not belong to the shield. I picked it up with cloth. Arya stared. I know that material. What? Registry seal crystal. The suitcase had carried it inside since before our bond. That changed everything. It had not been empty when the Academy gave it to me. Someone had placed a royal familiar registry object inside it, or the suitcase had eaten one before meeting me. I turned the shard. A symbol was carved on one side, a circle crossed by 3 lines. Arya went pale. What? My father has the same mark in his private papers. The rain continued. Mira stopped joking. The suitcase lid closed. 4th day. 44 gold and 2 silver. 1st place in Bronze Hall, 4th overall, 4 stored properties. And now the far threat finally had a shape. The Royal Familiar Registry was not simply watching the Academy. It had touched my suitcase before I ever arrived. On the 5th morning, Leon knocked on my door. That was not the strange part. The strange part was that he came alone. No friends, no flame wing on his shoulder, no smile. I opened the door. The suitcase rolled between us. Leon looked at it. I hate that thing. Click. It remembers you. I hate it more now. What do you want? He looked down the corridor. I need to talk. Talk. Not here. I like witnesses. I know. That sounded tired. Good. He led me to the empty eastern courtyard. Students crossed the upper walkways. We were not alone. Close enough. Leon stopped beside the fountain. My father did pay Ren. Direct. No decoration. I said nothing. He paid for the house. How much? 2,400 gold. Same number. Arya had been right. Why tell me? Leon looked angry at the fountain. At first I thought he paid to make sure I got the griffin. You did? Yes. You were fine with that? He looked at me. Yes. Good. No fake innocence. I thought that was all. What changed? Corin. I waited. My uncle came to my room after the Bronze Hall. What did he want? He asked whether your suitcase had shown signs of speech. Everything inside me became still. I did not look at the suitcase. Speech? Human speech. No, that was true. So far. What else? He asked whether it knew names. Cold. The fountain water sounded suddenly loud. Whose names? He did not say. Leon stepped closer. My father did not buy my first place because he cares about my rank. That would be surprising. Shut up. I waited. He breathed, then continued. He wanted you to receive that suitcase. There it was. The ceremony had not ended badly by accident. The stolen griffin was one move. The suitcase was another. Why? I do not know. Then find out. Leon laughed once. You think you can order me? No, I think you are afraid. His face hardened. I continued. You were willing to steal first place. You were willing to mock me. You challenged me twice, but you did not know about the Bronze Hall. He looked away. You were surprised when Sewell announced the override. Silence. And now your uncle asks if my familiar talks. Leon's anger became something else. Fear. My father told me never to ask about the registry. There was the far threat, finally spoken. Before I could answer, the suitcase rolled forward. It touched Leon's shoe. He froze. The lid opened 1 inch. Leon jumped back. Students on the upper walkway laughed. He looked up, furious. Good. Even serious scenes needed balance. I am not getting eaten by luggage. Then stop looking edible. He stared at me. That was terrible. Yes. He left. I did not trust him. But I believed his fear. At breakfast, Arya confirmed part of it. She had found old Academy allocation records. 32 years ago, the suitcase appeared in Academy storage under a sealed registry transfer. No origin, no species, no previous master, just one instruction. Do not destroy. Do not open by force. Assign only under designated resonance conditions. I read the last line twice. Designated conditions? Arya nodded. The condition code is sealed. Who can read it? Registry officers. Mira tore bread in half. So the worst familiar in the academy was not forgotten trash. No, I said. It was waiting. The suitcase clicked under the table. All three of us looked down. I had one feeding left before the end of the first week. I wanted evidence, not combat power. Arya's father had a private office in the examiner wing. Officially, Ren had been suspended from my case. Unofficially, he still had access to his office until the board hearing. If evidence existed there, it could disappear today. We needed to move first. I considered a recording crystal. Too expensive. A copying quill. Too narrow. Then Mira gave me the answer by accident. She dropped a training mirror. It cracked on the floor. The suitcase rolled toward it. I stared. Mira stared at me. No. I picked up the cracked mirror. Its function was simple. Reflect. The suitcase opened. Mira sighed. You owe me a mirror. How much? 1 gold. That mirror is worth 3 silver. 1 gold emotional damage. 3 silver. 5. 4. Fine. I paid 4 silver. 44 gold and 2 silver became 43 gold and 8 silver. The suitcase ate the mirror. Glass crunching was worse than metal. The new property settled behind my eyes. I looked at Arya. For 1 second, nothing happened. Then I understood. Reflection was not copying. It returned what reached it. Light. Image. Possibly mana patterns. I touched a weak detection beam in Mira's training room. The beam hit my palm. I activated reflection. It bounced sideways. Mira stared. That is going to cause problems. Yes. Good. Arya knew Ren's schedule. He was supposed to meet the academy board at noon. We entered the examiner wing at 12:10. Not secretly. That was important. Arya had archive access. Mira was staff. I was under active investigation. 3 students followed us within minutes. Then 7, then 15. Rumors did the rest. Ren's office door was locked. I touched it. Opening. Click. Mira looked at the growing crowd. You really stopped pretending to be normal. I died to luggage. She nodded. Fair. Inside, Ren's office looked almost empty. Desk, cabinet, bookshelf, 1 family portrait. Arya as a child, Ren younger, a woman who was probably Arya's mother. Arya stopped when she saw it. I did not touch the portrait. There were lines even when searching an enemy's room. The desk drawers contained routine papers. The cabinet had financial records. Nothing illegal. Too clean. Then the suitcase rolled toward the bookshelf. It bumped the lowest shelf. Once. I looked at it. It bumped again. Mira whispered, "It knows something. Or it hates books." The suitcase opened its lid toward the shelf. Fine. I pulled books out. Behind the 3rd row was a metal plate. No handle, no lock, a hidden door. Opening property. My fingertip touched the seam. Nothing. Stronger than the archive lock. I tried again. Pain. No movement. Mira said, "Maybe there is another way." Arya stared at the wall, then at her father's portrait. She walked over, touched the frame. A monopulse moved through the room. The metal plate clicked. Family authorization. Arya closed her eyes, then opened them. Open it. I did. Inside was a narrow compartment. 3 ledgers, a pouch of gold, a black registry envelope, and a small glass sphere containing a moving blue flame. The flame had an eye. It looked at us. Mira stepped back. Living surveillance wisp. Arya whispered, "Do not touch it." Too late. The wisp saw me. Its eye widened. The sphere cracked. A voice came from inside. Unauthorized access confirmed. The hallway crowd heard it. Good witnesses. Bad problem. The blue flame escaped. It flew toward the window. If it reached a registry relay, everything we found could be remotely destroyed. Mira threw her whistle. Missed. Arya grabbed a book. Missed. I jumped. Force release. My hand closed around the blue flame. Pain. It burned without heat. The system knowledge became immediate. Living magical object. Consumable. Cost. 7 days digestion. No feeding during that time. I had already fed today. Normally impossible. But the wisp was not ordinary food. It was trying to escape into the suitcase on its own. The suitcase opened. The blue flame screamed, not a human scream, high, sharp. The crowd in the hallway backed away. I had a choice: let it go, or force a second feeding and accept the special penalty. I threw the wisp. The suitcase swallowed it. The lid slammed shut. Every lock snapped closed. The suitcase shook so hard it bounced off the floor. Then silence. Cold knowledge entered my head. Living object consumed. Digestion. 7 days, no feeding until complete. The suitcase burped. Blue smoke came out from one lock. Mira stared. "That is disgusting." The suitcase rattled angrily. Then a woman's voice came from inside. "Mira talks too much." Nobody moved. The hallway became silent. The suitcase had spoken. Mira's mouth opened, closed, opened again. "That thing just insulted me." Arya looked at me. I looked at the suitcase. The voice had been clear, female, young, tired. Then footsteps came from the corridor. Ren. He stopped at the door, saw the open compartment, saw Arya, saw me, saw the crowd. His face collapsed. Not dramatically, just enough. "What have you done?" Arya held up the first ledger. "What did you do?" Ren went white. The crowd reacted immediately. Students pushed closer. Someone ran for Master Soul. Ren stepped inside. "Give me that." "No." His own daughter said it. Publicly, again. He reached for the ledger. I stepped between them. He stopped. "You do not understand." "Then explain." His eyes went to the suitcase. Fear, real fear, not of me, of it. "You should never have bonded that thing." There. 100 witnesses heard him. I spoke quietly. "Why?" He realized too late. His mouth closed. Arya opened the ledger. Pages of payments, names, examiner initials, familiar allocations, resonance scores, official scores, change scores, years of them. This was bigger than me. One student beside the door read over her shoulder. "My brother." Everyone turned. He pointed at a name. "My brother scored 83 3 years ago. Officially, he got 59. The room erupted. Another student pushed forward. "My sister tested 4 years ago." Names, families, scores, payments. The scheme had been running for years. Ren had not invented it. House Vale had not invented it. They were part of it. The registry envelope sat in the compartment. Arya opened it. 1 page, black seal, Royal Familiar Registry. Subject, living baggage 7, status, dormant, allocation condition, resonance above 90. My skin became cold. That was why they needed my score changed. Not because Leon needed first place. Leon's victory had been cover. My 91 had activated an old condition. The academy had been required to assign the suitcase to me. House Vale had known. Ren had known. Maybe they had been waiting years for someone above 90. Arya read the next line. Her voice stopped. I took the page. Post-allocation instruction. Observe awakening. Report speech. Report memory retrieval. Do not permit subject or master to leave capital jurisdiction. Memory retrieval. The suitcase rattled. Ren backed away. "You need to give it to the registry." "No. You do not know what it is. Do you?" His eyes moved toward Arya. Guilt, fear, love, all at once. "I know enough." "Then say it." He did not. The crowd behind us parted. Master Saul arrived with 3 senior instructors. He saw the ledger, the registry paper, Ren, then Arya. Saul's face became stone. "Examiner Ren, you are suspended from all academy duties effective immediately." Ren closed his eyes. Status gone. Publicly, in front of students, in front of his daughter. Saul continued, "You will surrender your badge." Ren removed it slowly. Years of authority. 1 small piece of silver. He placed it on the desk. Nobody laughed. This was not Leon. This was worse. Ren had a family, a career, a reason. His humiliation was quiet. That made it heavier. Then he looked at Arya. "I am sorry." She did not answer. He walked out through the crowd. Students moved away from him. Yesterday they had called him examiner. Now nobody called him anything. The academy board seized the ledgers. Within 1 hour, 27 altered familiar assignments were confirmed. Within 3 hours, that number became 62. The Academy announced an emergency audit. My original resonance score was formally restored, 91. The public board changed. David Ash, resonance, 91. Highest first-year score. The Royal Scholarship returned in full, 30 gold for the month, because half had already been paid. I received another 15. My money rose from 43 gold and 8 silver to 58 gold and 8 silver. Then the Academy paid the Bronze Hall record reward I had already earned. That had been included before. No double counting. Numbers mattered. The Griffin contract could not be immediately restored because Leon had already bonded the animal. Instead, the Academy offered compensation. 40 gold. I accepted. 98 gold and 8 silver. 5 days ago, I had owned 7 silver. Now I had almost 100 gold. My combat practical rank remained first. My overall first-year rank moved from 4th to 2nd after the restored resonance score. Only an academic prodigy named Kai Ren remained above me because he had perfect written scores. I did not care. Second was visible. Last was forgotten. My strength had 5 stored properties: cutting, force release, opening, impact resistance, reflection. My 6th feeding had happened illegally early through the living wisp. The cost was 7 days. No new property, no new feeding. The suitcase shook every few minutes and complained. At first, it only made sounds, then words. Hot, annoying, blue tastes bad. Mira stared at it for almost an hour. You called me loud. The suitcase clicked. Say it again. Silence. Coward. The lid opened 1 inch. Mira jumped back. Arya laughed. The suitcase closed. The Academy dining hall gave me a free dinner. Not because they liked me, because the cook had bet 5 silver that my 91 was real. He won. I respected that. We ate roast beef, potatoes and butter, fresh bread, steamed vegetables, apple cake. Actual apple cake. The beef had a dark crust and soft pink center. The potatoes broke under the fork. Butter and salt filled every crack. The bread was warm. I ate 3 slices before realizing Arya had barely touched her food. Mira noticed too. She stood. I need to argue with the suitcase outside. The suitcase rolled after her. Traitor again. Arya and I remained. She stared at the cake. My father is being held for questioning. I know. He confessed to taking the money. I waited. He said Lord Vale threatened to expose my mother's medical debt. There was the motive. Not noble. Not innocent. Human. Her mother had died 2 years ago. Treatment had cost more than the family could pay. Ren had borrowed from illegal lenders. Lord Vale bought the debt, then bought Ren. It did not excuse what he did to me. It explained why he had first agreed. Then one crime became several. That was how traps worked. Arya finally looked at me. Do you hate him? Yes. She flinched. I continued. But I do not need him destroyed. She looked confused. I need the truth. I need the people above him. If he helps expose them, that matters. Her eyes became wet. You mean that? Yes. Why? Because he is not the top. I pushed the registry page toward her. Someone waited 32 years for a student above 90. She looked at it. That scares you? Yes. It was the first time I admitted fear to her. Not weakness. Information. She nodded. It scares me too. We finished the cake. Slowly. Outside the dining hall, students gathered around the main board. House Vale donor privileges were suspended. Corin Vale was under Academy investigation. Lord Vale had been summoned to appear before the Royal Education Council. Leon had dropped from first in public favor to something close to poison, but the board still showed his 88 resonance. His flame wing was still powerful. He was still a student. When he saw me across the hall, he did not challenge me. He lowered his head once. Not respect, acknowledgement. For now, enough. That evening, I sent 80 gold home. I kept 18 gold and 8 silver. My mother would receive more money in one package than she had earned in years. I wrote only one sentence. I am doing well. Anything else would worry her. Mira came to my room with Arya. The suitcase was already there. It had spent the last hour groaning. 7-day digestion was real. Its leather looked swollen. One wheel refused to touch the floor. Mira pointed at it. It looks pregnant. The suitcase spoke. Die. Mira went completely still. Arya covered her mouth. I looked at the suitcase. That was rude. Loud woman. Mira slowly crouched. I love it. The suitcase rolled backward. No, she followed. We are friends now. No. You talked to me twice. Regret. Arya started laughing. I did too. For a few minutes, the room was warm. The investigation could wait outside. The registry could wait. House Vale could wait. Rain tapped the glass. We shared the rest of the apple cake. Mira tried to feed crumbs to the suitcase. It insulted her. Arya sat beside the window. I sat on the floor. Almost 100 gold earned. 91 restored. Second overall. Ren removed. Corrin exposed. Lord Vale pulled into public view. The first enemy ladder had cracked. Not broken. Cracked. I should have felt satisfied. Instead, the suitcase became quiet. Too quiet. Arya noticed first. What is wrong? The locks opened. 1, 2, 3. The lid lifted. Blackness filled the room. Mira stopped smiling. The female voice came from inside, clearer than before. Closer. David. I stood. Nobody in this world had ever heard that voice call my name. The suitcase continued. David Hale. My blood went cold. Arya looked at me. Who is David Hale? I could not answer. Ash was my name in this life. Hale had been my name before the airport, before the lights, before the baggage hall, before the suitcase fell from a moving belt and crushed my skull. Nobody here knew it. Nobody could know it. The voice inside the suitcase sighed, not dramatically, tired, almost annoyed. You took longer than usual. My mouth became dry. Longer than what? The black interior moved. For one instant I saw something inside. Not luggage, not darkness, a baggage carousel, bright white airport lights, a red warning lamp. People moving in the distance. My first world. Then it vanished. The suitcase spoke again. You took longer than usual to notice that baggage belts do not break by themselves. Nobody moved. Mira looked at me. Arya looked at the suitcase. I looked into the darkness. A memory returned, not the suitcase falling. Before that, 1 second before, a man standing beside the baggage controls, dark blue coat, silver pin, a circle crossed by 3 lines, the same symbol stamped on the royal familiar registry paper. My first death had not been an accident, and this was not my second life. The suitcase lid began to close. I grabbed it. How many times? The voice laughed once, weakly. You always ask that first. My hands tightened. How many times have I died? Silence. Then the woman inside my familiar whispered one number. 7. The lid slammed shut.